Hi, my name is Christy, and this is my story. I was diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer in September, October of 2017. How I originally found out is that I did a self breast exam at home, and then when I explained it to my physician, she asked me to come into the office, and I came into the office, and she confirmed that I did have a mass, but I had to have what they call a diagnostic mammogram done to confirm what it actually was. When I had the diagnostic mammogram that particular day, everything just seemed to be going really slow. I had the mammogram, and then I had to wait for the diagnostic part, which was an ultrasound of my breast. And then as the young lady was, as she was doing the ultrasound, I found that I was just getting a little nervous because she was taking more and more pictures. And then I just looked up at her and I said, "You found something, didn't you? You see it?" And she says, "Yes." But she told me, she said, "It's really small, and they'll just pop it right out." But that's not exactly what took place for me. When the tech was finished with my ultrasound, there's a doctor that came in, or the radiologist that came in, and did confirm that I did have a mass in my breast. And after that, they just asked me to go ahead, get dressed, and I'll meet with another person within the facility. But I can honestly say that when I was having the ultrasound completed, the tears just began to roll down my face because I knew that it was just not right. Something was wrong. But the song that Anthony Brown and Group Therapy sang, and they said, is "I Trust You." And as the tears flowed, I just began to sing the song, "I trust you." I trusted God to bring me through this journey. So as I went and I met with another person within the facility, they set me up immediately with my surgical doctor, and then it seems like everything just started going boom, 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 so fast, fast, fast. I met with my surgical physician, which was Dr. Burl Brown, and then we did a few tests just to see what the mass was, because it could have just been non-cancerous. It just could have been just something that just appeared, and no cancer at all. But I was holding out hope for it not being cancer at all. So one day when I went to work, I received a phone call from Dr. Brown, and she said, "Miss Wilson," she said, "how are you today?" And I said, "I was doing good." And she said, "Well, what we're going to do is I need you to bring somebody in with you." And I said, "Okay, yes, my husband's coming with me." And she said, "Okay, great. We'll see you then, because I did get the results of your biopsy, and it is cancerous." And it's just as if the wind was just taken out of me, because I just was trusting God that it would not be cancer, that it would not, that it would just be nothing at all. And when we went to the appointment, she stated to me that it was what they call triple negative breast cancer. And triple negative breast cancer is a cancer cell that does not have any estrogen or progesterone or HER2. It's negative for all of those. So the normal treatments that you would normally receive for breast cancer, you can't go that route with this aggressive form of breast cancer. So for one, it was aggressive. For another, it couldn't be treated the way it normally would be treated. Some women that have breast cancer, they're able to take a pill after they finish chemo and radiation. They take a pill for 5 years. That was just not my case. This particular type of breast cancer, I cannot take a pill for the remainder of 5 to 10 years, but rather I had to treat it directly with chemotherapy. My family is very important to me, and the day that I had to go and see Dr. Brown, I came home first, and I just wanted to lay down. And as I laid down, my daughter came into my room along with my adult son, Ricky, and I had another adult son who was away in college. That's Derek. And then my youngest son was in school at the time, and he was at Green Run High School. His name is Arrick. And so as I laid in my bed, Erica and Ricky came into my room, just asking how was my day, what's going on, why are you home? And I had to tell them that I received my diagnosis for the mass in my breast. And as I told them, my daughter, she just made a certain sound like, oh, but all I could do was just cry, because I did not know how this whole story was going to end. I had goals. I had desires for myself. I wanted to see my children's children. I wanted to see my son graduate high school. I wanted to I wanted to live a long life with my husband, and I did not know how my story would end. And so as I began to cry and I just laid in my bed, my son Ricky just grabbed me and he just picked me up, and he he didn't say a thing. But it was as if he was telling me I was gonna live and I wasn't gonna die, and he wasn't gonna let me die. At the time, I only had one grandchild, and her name was Ava. And Ava would just hold my hand when I was going through my chemo treatments and when I had my surgeries. She would always tell her mom, I just want to spend some time. And she would sit with me and she would just hold my hand. And it was just as if I was just what the Lord had for me. She was my blessing. She was life. And I just, every time I look at her now, I just thank God for her life. I thank God for what He placed in her, because she was a calming spirit. She was a loving spirit. And I'm just thankful that I'm able to spend weekends sometimes with her, that I'm still here to spend a lifetime with her. I started chemo in November of 2017. And when I originally went and met with my oncologist, who was a great doctor, Dr. Danso, when I sat down with Dr. Danso and sat down with his office staff, they told me what I would be experiencing through my chemo treatments. And I originally thought that I was just going to have 12 rounds and that was it. But it turned out that I had 12 rounds of one type of chemo, and then I had what they call the red devil. And the red devil, I don't know what is in that chemo drug, but it threw my body into sepsis. I spent a week in Norfolk General Hospital in May of 2018. And I really did not think that I was coming home. I had to have a blood transfusion, which went really well until the end. At the end is when I started having an allergic reaction to the blood that was being transfused. But I ended up coming home, and I thank God for that. And then on June 20th of 2018, I went to Dr. Danso's office for a visit. And he told me, he said, "Miss Wilson, it looks like we've gotten all the cancer and you are cancer free." So today I celebrate 5 years of being cancer free. 5 years that the Lord has kept me. He kept me continuously, and I am so thankful. My husband, Ricky, was my support system through the entire time, from diagnosis to chemotherapy visits. He was at every chemotherapy visit. He took good care of me. He was at every doctor's appointment. When I couldn't do for myself, he did for me. He cared for my entire household while I was sick. And I am just so thankful that the Lord gave him to me. I'm thankful for his prayers. I'm thankful for him loving me enough to care for me. What I would like to say to anyone who's just going through any type of battle, it doesn't necessarily have to be cancer, a diagnosis. It doesn't necessarily have to be physical or emotional, but just anything that you're going through, just know that everything will be all right. Trust the Lord with all of your heart. Believe in him to bring you through anything, and he'll do it. I'm living proof that the Lord delivered me, that the Lord healed me, and I am a living miracle.